following is a Galactic Digital Studios production. This is Life Talk, part of the Closing Tag Network. So I wanted to kind of come on here on Life Talk, part of the Closing Tag Network, especially in the month of May. The month of May has different meanings for everybody. It was my mother's birth month. My mother and my father were both born in the month of May. So was my sister. So was my ex. And for a lot of people, especially younger people, around this time of year is very exciting because, and I want to start this episode off with a very special and very heartfelt congratulations to the class of 2024. Whether you're graduating from high school or you're graduating from college, congratulations. I'm a college graduate myself. I know how difficult and how much work, how much sacrifice, how much painstaking hours of staying up, studying for tests that you'll probably never use again in your entire life. How much of that is poured into what you're about to accomplish. And that is why I want to come to you today on Life Talk, because I want to have a special message sent to you. A very special message that I don't think too many people, not Rain Wilson, not any of the other guys that are doing commencement speeches, are going to tell you, because they don't really grasp the concept of it. They've never had to deal with it that much in their lives. I have. And I'm going to try and go through this, episode without interjecting a personal story. I'm going to try. Key operative word. But the message that I want to send to the class of 2024 is wear sunscreen. No, I'm just kidding. Can't help it. I'm a 90s product. Can't help it. I can't help it. No. The message I want to send to the class of 2024 and any other class that may follow after this that want to come back and watch this episode is give yourself permission to fail. I think so much of our society, of our lives, of our being is we have to be perfect. We have to succeed at everything we do. And that just simply isn't the case. There are very, very few people that succeed on their first shot in life. Very few. Steve Jobs didn't even succeed at first. Bill Gates didn't succeed at first. Hell, as much as I may not like the guy, Elon Musk didn't even succeed at first. No one succeeds on their first shot. So give yourself permission to fail. Give yourself permission to try new things, even if you may not think in your heart of hearts you may succeed. Try it anyway. So many people are so content with, doing things that are easy, doing things that require very little to no effort. Try new things. Know that when you try something, the likelihood that you're going to fail at first is very much a thing. Very likely. 98% of people under the age of 20 that try something new will fail at their first attempt. And it doesn't matter what it is that they do. It could be starting a business. It could be, writing a memoir. It could be content creation. It could be anything. Give yourself permission to fail. But also at the same time, don't be afraid of failure. Don't let failure drive you into a shelter of fear in which you never come out of. There's so many people out there that are living their lives with regret. People my age, people at 45 and over, that do the whole woulda, coulda, shoulda thing. And it's just not a way to live. It just isn't. Do things that you're scared of. Whether it's starting a podcast, or writing a book, or taking a programming class. By the way, check me out every Monday and Wednesday on twitch.tv/owlthegeek for Tech Time. Do things that scare you. And it doesn't just have to be, life experience things. It could be, eating something that you've never tried before. It could be going to that one place that you've never been to before. Even if you don't know anybody in the region, go anyway. Do things and experience things in life that scare you, and it'll teach you to combat that fear with action. Fear can be a motivator, but it can also be a killer of dreams. And people that graduate, especially college students, almost every single one of them will fail at their first endeavor out the door. There are many college graduates that still haven't found success because they're so afraid of going out and doing something about it that it just paralyzes them. Thankfully, I'm not one of those people, but that's another story. Giving yourself permission to fail eliminates the fear of failure. And trying things that scare you for the first time will give you the opportunity to learn how to confront your fear. And being able to confront your fear and being able to live your life without failing or fearing failure is a lot better at 40 years old than living your life in regret, wondering what could have been if I had only tried. There's a famous quote, or a famous story, I should say, about Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. I argue the greatest player of basketball of all time, but that's for Sports Central, not for this podcast. The story about Michael Jordan was that he tried out for his high school team, knowing that he probably wasn't going to make it. But he tried anyway. And of course he failed. He didn't make the varsity team. So that entire year, leading up to his junior year in high school, he practiced diligently. He studied diligently. He obviously still went to school and still, did his best grade-wise, but he did everything in his power to try and better himself. So the next time that he went back, he was better, he was smarter, he was wiser, he was able to confront his fear and to confront failure. And he would go on to become one of the greatest players of all time. I mentioned Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs failed at opening a computer business, I think it was at least 3 times, before he teamed up with Steve Wozniak and a couple other people in his garage, and they came up with the Apple computer. And that company changed the entire world, for better or worse. It changed the world. And Steve Jobs is now looked at as a visionary. Could you imagine if he had stopped after the first time he failed? Where society would be right now. Another really interesting story. I forget the story. No, it was Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, the supposed inventor of the light bulb. Many people debate, Nicholas Tesla. We need to have that debate another time. That's not the time and place for today. He failed numerous times. He was ridiculed and mocked. Oh, we'll never be able to harness electricity. We're witnessing, some of the byproducts of that miracle. Could you imagine if both Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison stopped after the first time they failed? Where would we even be today? Same thing with Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin was trying to discover electricity. Could you imagine what would happen if he had failed the first time, or quit after failing the first time? Give yourself permission to fail. Expect that you're going to fail. But don't look at failure as the end. Don't look at failure as the dead end of a road. Look at failure as rather a speed bump. That's the biggest takeaway, is you want to switch that mindset from thinking that failure is the end, failure is a dead end, to thinking failure is a speed bump. There's a quote that I want to read to you now. I'm going to read the quote, and then I'm going to tell you the backstory behind the man behind this quote. You ready? Okay. You cannot achieve success without the risk of failure. And I learned a long time ago, you cannot achieve success if you fear failure. If you're not afraid to fail, man, you have a chance to succeed. But you're never going to get there unless you risk it. All the way. I'll risk failure. Sometimes half the fun is failing. Learning from your mistakes. Waking up the next morning saying, okay, watch out. Here I come again. A little bit smarter, licking my wounds. Really not looking forward to getting my ass kicked the way I just did yesterday. Sorry for the language. So now I'm just a little bit more dangerous. The man behind that quote is 2024 WWE Hall of Famer Paul Heyman. If he had quit the entire business after ECW folded, after the business that he started went under, where do you think he would be right now? That's why I say give yourself permission to fail. Give yourself permission to get knocked down, but have the resilience and the durability and, frankly, the stubbornness to get right back up and look at life and proclaim to it, is that really the best you've got? And I want this message proclaimed loudly, not just to the class of 2024 for high school and college graduates. I want it to be proclaimed loudly for the class of 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030, 2031, 2032, 2033. At the very least, all the way up to where my now 10-year-old daughter has graduated. Give yourself permission to fail. Because you will. At first. And once you do, once you got that out of your system and you learn from your mistakes, you learn from your failures. Because failure is a good motivator, but at the same time, failure is a good teacher. Once you've learned from your mistakes and from failure, you're unstoppable. You are 100% unstoppable. And I, for one, cannot wait to see what you do with that power. It excites and scares the hell out of me. Because we are living in an age where the world is changing on a daily basis. And I want everyone that's listening to this right now to understand the power that they have in their fingertips, in their hands. Know that you have the power to change the world the way that you see fit. Even if it's just your own little corner of the world. That's still a change. But you're not going to change it if you're afraid to fail. If even 5 people listen to this message and change their world, their own little corner of the world, by not being afraid to fail, by not accepting failure as the end, but rather as a teacher, as a speed bump. And then turn around and accomplish amazing, wonderful things. I will feel that I have done my service to the world. And if one of those people is my son or my daughter, even better. I want everyone that's listening to this, watching this on Facebook, to share with the high school graduate and the college graduate in their life. I will probably never be a commencement speaker. I don't make enough money, unfortunately. But I would like to at least provide a little bit of wisdom and a little bit of motivation to the high school and college graduate in your life. And to those people, I say again, congratulations. You've made it this far. This is just the beginning. Now the real work begins. If you are watching this on YouTube, like the video. It helps with the algorithms. I don't know how. I'm just told that it helps with the algorithms. Subscribe to the channel, which probably also helps with algorithms. Hit the bell for notifications. That just helps notify you that a new video dropped. If you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a review. If you're interested in donating, the donation button is on theclosingtag.com. That's again, theclosingtag.com. If you are watching this, or if you are interested in watching me record these live, twitch.tv/owlthegeek. That's owl as in like the bird, the geek. All one word, no underscores, no hyphens, none of that. Come watch me record these live. And I want to again thank everyone that is listening, downloading, donating, watching, doing everything you can to make sure this podcast does not become my latest failure. Your efforts are not going unnoticed. So thank you. And to everyone young and old that's within earshot of this, until next time, guys, remember to include your closing tags. Thank you. This has been a Galactic Digital Studios production.